That's worse. I made it worse.
Welcome to In the Lab podcast, episode 26. I can't believe we made it to 26. I don't know how we did it, honestly. But on this episode, we're joined by a very special guest. And when I mean special, I mean truly special because, like, you guys probably know just from the thumbnail, like, Simon Servida, dude, he's a fucking social media music creation guru, man. His reels are popping. He went viral multiple times, and he's sitting on the couch right next to me, man.
Hey, man.
Appreciate you coming through.
Thanks for having me, man.
It's actually crazy because we were talking about this before, but I did not know you were in Toronto, like, at all. And not just Toronto, but like in like the suburb area where I grew up in.
I'm a big suburb guy.
Yeah.
I'm a white picket fence kind of guy.
and I was so surprised because I guess I just don't assume that anyone's like from this area. And especially now Toronto. And I only found out that, yeah, you were like chilling here in the GTA. And when I saw Nile Blues, the reel you guys made, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you're in the area or something.
Yeah, like I love Toronto. I rep Toronto. But at the same time, just because I'm online, I do try and keep like my location as like discreet as possible.
That's fair.
Just
Yeah, I was
in
just
case
about
of
to dox
anything,
him. No, I won't say anything. Yeah, I appreciate you coming through. And it's really cool for me because I feel like I've been watching your reels for a bit of time, probably just after COVID, like 2022-ish is when I started seeing your reels. I thought it would be longer, but I feel like time is just, my sense of time is horrible, I will say. Like, it felt like I was watching your reels like all the way back when I started music, but yeah, I would say around 2022-ish.
Yeah, that's kind of like around when I started.
Yeah.
I haven't started too long ago.
And in terms of like, would you say that music creation is your full-time job? Would you like feel like you produce more in your day-to-day?
In terms of, so music as a whole is my full-time job. I have a YouTube channel that I run, so that's kind of how I got my start. So I like to manage that, and then I also like to, on the business side, sell courses. I sell kits, so that sometimes takes a bit of time. The short-form content also takes a bit of time. And as of now, like going on to the future, I'm trying to release a lot of music just with artists, so then that's going to be more stuff to do. But
that's
just
exciting.
having like all those things is what keeps me in a full-time position.
Actually, now that you mentioned YouTube, I think that's where I found you first.
Okay.
Like just sharing like YouTube tutorials or like, content creation and things like that. I guess the short form stuff was kind of more, not more recently, but I feel like they popped off more recently.
No, I was pretty like late to the party. I was actually kind of I was like fighting against it. Like, I don't think it's gonna last. Like, it's just a fad. And then I was like, okay, wait, hold up.
Oh, okay.
I gotta join the party now.
And what kind of, was it like a particular reel that you made or something that opened your eyes to like the potential of it, or were you just like convinced as a whole at some point where like the short form content is going to be like the future?
I noticed it when I just started using it more. I was skeptical about it before because I was still, just watching YouTube heavily. But now they give me too many ads, and now I just end up scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm like, wait, I'm using this a lot. I should figure this out.
I see. Okay. I mean, in terms of like your passion for music, like let's start there. Were you always growing up? Were you always like, you just always loving music, performing, and that sort of thing, or was this sort of something you discovered like later in life?
I was introduced to piano by my parents when I was 7.
Okay, classic.
Classic Asian background. I quit immediely though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I still liked doing it. I just didn't like the music they were giving me because it was just,
Okay, yeah, just classical.
Yeah, Divine
just
Mice,
old
hot cross buns type beats. And then I just continued to play and just listen to more like pop music and try and emulate those. Once I got into high school, that's when I discovered just making beats. And then
what DAW do you use?
FL Studio.
FL
Gang.
So you started with FL, and then
I'm still with FL.
Okay, yes, sir.
I ain't moving. Yeah, that was just like a fun hobby to pass the time. Like it still feels like a video game to me. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like something fun to do like at night after you've done your homework. That's always like what it felt like to me. So, I think that's why I enjoy music so much still, because it just feels like something fun to do.
Yeah, honestly, you can feel that energy through your content because like with like the ranked FL stuff, and then like you doing all these like speed challenges, it really does seem like you're trying to like game FL Studio. Like it's like you're trying to find all the shortcuts, you're trying to like basically grab anything you can, like at it, like juice the shit out of FL Studio.
Yeah, I'm a gamer in my bones, so like there's just no way I couldn't like avoid doing stuff like that.
No, for sure. I think just watching the reels itself, I was just like discovering so many things that I wouldn't have noticed before. So I can definitely tell in that terms of that. So like through high school, when you were kind of doing like making beats on the side and stuff, did you ever have a thought that like I can do this full time?
No, hell no. I was ass. I was so bad. Especially like I'm like on the older side, so there really weren't tutorials back then. Maybe if I had some tutorials, I could have like been at a place of skill where like, oh, I'm not bad. But no, I was just I was trash throughout the whole tenure of high school. But I still found it fun. That was like the thing. When I went to university, I started taking science, and I ended up failing all those things. And then I kind of just felt like career-wise, like I wasn't even looking at like what am I good at, just like what do I want to do. So I just decided that music was just something I never got bored of. So I felt like, okay, I'll like really try and work on this thing.
And how long from like when you first made that decision to like try and make music work, how long did it kind of take you to finally see like tangible results or something that you can be like, okay, I can actually do this for the long term?
So maybe as soon as I graduated university, so I switched programs after the first year, and then the second year I actually took music. So I started learning theory and composition and stuff like that. So I think that really helped just everything go up in general. So I think after I graduated, I felt like I was a much better place than I was before.
Oh, okay. And you feel like the music program that you were taking in university helped like a lot more in terms of developing or giving you an understanding of like music creation and sort of
in some
composing?
aspects. I think like modern music production, not really.
Yeah.
But just like the overall knowledge of music in general, like theory especially, that's definitely where I got a lot of my chops from.
Okay. Wait, where do you go to for uni?
Guelph. University of Guelph.
Okay. Actually, that reminds me of, we were talking earlier before the podcast. So we actually went to the same high school, graduated from the same high school. Do you feel like at the time, kind of, we went to, well, maybe I shouldn't say. Do you feel like the music program in that high school kind of also gave you like a foundation in terms of kind of like discovering your feel for music and your passion for music? Or is it kind of just like something to do?
No, it was it's extracurricular credit, and I didn't want to do woodshop, so I played the flute, and that was that was it. I felt like it was a better decision. I don't think it increased like my abilities for music anyway. I wasn't even that good at playing flute, and I don't even own a flute now, so I forgot everything. So it's just you got to get a credit, so I'll get it from
for
here.
Sure. We actually didn't have a choice in terms of arts at the time. I think when I went in, especially the IBU program, you only got a choice between like visual arts and music. And I already went to an art school in elementary school, so music was an easy choice for me at the time. And then I don't know if you know this, but the year after I graduated, there was a sponsored music production class actually that you can get a credit for.
Oh, hard.
Yeah. So my music teacher at the time like really went hard for this, and then my the year after I graduated, they have a full-on like music production.
They still have it right now?
No, not anymore because he's not there anymore. But yeah,
fully sponsored. Just when he was there.
Yeah, there was a big corporate sponsor that did it. I don't think they attached a name to it, but there's an executive at that corporate. I think that his kids were in the same year as me when they're going through. And then he really like enjoyed the music program and what they did, and he was just like, yo, like let me fund the whole course. Like it was crazy.
That shit's so cool, yo. Like I'd be so excited to like get up out of bed at like at 8 to like get to high school.
I know,
and shit.
exactly.
Like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
And it really like set in for me when I was invited to like go talk, because to go teach one or two of the courses for him, and it really set in the moment, because I was just sitting there. I'm like, I can't imagine being like a freshman high schooler sitting there like getting to make beats for like a semester. Like that's all you do. That's all you're gonna get graded on. You just get to learn and create. And I would have had a whole different outlook on.
What did you teach?
Music. I was kind of just it was less about like actual like teaching production, but more like explaining what a career looks like after the fact. Like if you really wanted to do this, what does it look like? Not saying that I was like so deep into like full-time, because I do full-time music now as well. Not that I was like so knowledgeable about the industry and everything that comes with it. It was more like what kind of person do you have to be to like make it work? You know, it's not a easy job. It's fun.
It's fun.
And it's like fulfilling, but it's not an easy job. There's so many ups and downs. It feels like, especially with social media kind of being so intertwined with it. I feel like the highs are really high, but the lows, it makes you question everything. And just because you're really good at it doesn't mean you can make it work. So it's a kind of like a weird balance you have to take.
I think I go through like a depressive episode every quarter.
Exactly.
Like a quarterly depression.
It's like even like the really successful, like I talked to I don't know if you know, he's a J Park's longtime producer, like Cha Malone.
Okay.
I met him in Seattle because that's where they're based out of, and he's someone I look up to in terms of his career is so set. Like he doesn't need to do anything. He has the hits, he has the money, like he has the connections, like you have everything you need as a producer in particular. And then I asked him like, so like kind of what are you struggling with these days? And he's like, self-confidence. Like I still don't know if I could do this. I'm like, and I look at it. I look up to him, and he's telling me this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
they're like, what do I think about myself?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm screwed for the next for the rest of my life, I guess. So, yeah, it's exactly that. How do you feel like, you know, as you mentioned, you go through like a depressive episode every quarter, like 4 times a year, basically. How do you kind of get through that hump for yourself? Like, what are some of the things that you always go to or try to remind yourself in terms of like, yeah, I still got this?
I take a break.
Okay.
The break, the length of the break, it depends on like what's going on, but just time away just from doing stuff always helps me come back stronger, just because I have ideas that are just kind of built up, and when I go back I feel like I have like this strong momentum going at it. So that is like one of the big things. Just in terms of like also just like talking to people and like just like kind of living life. It feels like I need that to just be inspired in terms of music or content in general. So just making a effort to just go out, whether it's my friends or my girl, or just go network or something.
I feel like that's like underrated, honestly, advice for people. And it seems kind of counterintuitive in terms of like, yeah, just do anything except music in that moment. Or like, don't create, just like live life. And I feel like a lot of people have a hard time letting go of that and then just enjoying and experiencing life.
Yeah, it's hard, especially if like you're not where you want to be though. Because when I started for the first 2 years of like my YouTube channel, it was like go.
Yeah.
And then I had like a huge burnout where I couldn't do anything for like a month or two. So looking back, I should have taken more breaks and stuff. But especially like if you're not where you are, I can't really.
It's
tell
hard
them
to
not to grind it out, because like, you know, there's only so much time in this world.
And yeah, honestly, even for me these days, it is really difficult to let go of the idea that like, because you're so used to grinding and that's what works. It's so hard to like stop and like, or like find it within you to like stop. Because then for me, sometimes even when I stop, like then all the doubt creeps in. Because I feel like sometimes keeping busy like keeps the demons away. Yeah. And then you stop and you're chilling and you're like, oh, enjoying life. And all of a sudden you're just like, oh, what am I doing?
Just fucking whispering in the back of your head.
Exactly. I kind of wanted to touch on, you know, like your YouTube like career and your content creation career. What made you want to upload something for the first time? Was it like you saw a creator out there already and you thought, you know, inspired to do it, or is it something you kind of just did on a whim?
It felt like I still feel like I'm not part of the music industry, even like in Toronto, just because for one of like the location of it. Yeah. And then for the second part, just I didn't grow up like with these people. It feels like within like that group, it feels like they've known each other for years, and it feels weird just like imposing myself and just being like this +1 trying like to get in with them. So the internet specifically just felt like a good way for me to equalize myself. And just uploading YouTube is like, hey, I'm here, but not in like a imposing way. Just be like, hey, I'm here if anybody wants to know I'm here. Yeah. It's just one of those. I think that's why I decided to like pursue stuff online.
Right. And just kind of carve out your own niche and your own audience
Yeah.
type of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a better path trying to attract people instead of trying to pursue people. So I think that's my path for that.
main
Yeah.
motivation for doing that. And then how many years ago did you start that at this
Started 2018.
Wow. Holy. Okay, yeah, it was right around the time I started music actually.
Okay, nice.
So that kind of lines up. Okay. And yeah, when you first were kind of starting your YouTube channel, was your idea to kind of just start doing tutorials or like fun content ideas, or was there another end goal in mind for that?
That was pretty much the goal. I think just build the audience. I still don't think too far in the future today.
Wow, really? Just
but
whatever is just feeling that day.
Yeah, honestly, just make whatever I feel like making, and I think if it's a genuine thing, then I feel like anyone would resonate with that. So at the time, it was making tutorials and videos like that. Hopefully, just building my audience. I didn't know what to do with them until like later on, where I was like selling kits and selling courses. But just building momentum in general isn't like a bad thing, even though I don't have a plan.
Right.
Like at the moment.
For sure. As long as you have the eyeballs is the most important.
Yeah, I think that's still.
Yeah.
That's probably the main reason why I'm focused on the short form now, just because I just know that's where eyeballs are right now.
Yeah. More engagement. And you know, something really interesting, and you know, a lot of the people see you or they see your numbers and they're like, wow, you've always been successful, you know, like, and I was just curious, like when I first started seeing your content, so I like scrolled down, and you know, I think people don't realize that on the surface, yeah, like you see the big numbers, you see the like viral reels, but people don't see like how many tries or how many reels you uploaded that didn't really get that much traction right beforehand. It isn't until like there's the one that goes viral and then you build off that momentum, you know. Kind of what was your mentality or what was your strategy when you were first uploading YouTube videos or uploading like reels and stuff? And they weren't like doing numbers like they are now. Like, what was your strategy?
At the time, I thought they were doing great.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're still up because you know, like before the viral ones, I'm like, yeah, this is nice, steady. This is some steady growth right here, even though it might be like a couple thousand or a couple hundred. To me, it was like, oh, this is nice. And then once this viral ones start coming in, that's when, just in comparison, you're like, oh wait, now it's doing shit. So like the ones before are always gonna be there, but I think in the future, if like one really flops, that gets deleted.
Oh,
you're done for.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. So yeah, the bar completely changes at that point. Right?
Yeah, the bar is really different now compared to what it was before. But I just didn't have any perspective of like what the bar was, so I just kept them there. And I like seeing like what I did before too. Yeah,
it's fun to see like a little trail of like your progress, even, or like, and sometimes even like looking at this podcast, having like video out, you look at yourself like maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and you're like, wow, I was in a different time of my life, even. Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I had that haircut 2 years ago. Damn, okay.
yeah, exactly. And you know, kind of managing social media now for you, with so many eyeballs and a big audience, and you know, even your own expectation for how reels should do. How do you kind of balance that in your life? I can imagine like uploading maybe a couple flops in a row, and you're kind of just like questioning everything, where it feels really bad. How do you balance like social media success or kind of leveraging your own expectations and your own like mental health?
Tough question. How do I balance that stuff?
Because even just speaking from my own experience, like you have songs that do really well for a period of time, and for me, I took a break and I came back, and it just wasn't the same. And I always say the music landscape changed a lot when I came back to like uploading music again, and it was really disheartening at first. I just tried the same things, and I couldn't really accept that things changed, and kind of like going up with the times, and kind of, you know, realizing that the same strategy and just adjusting my own expectation and kind of adjusting to the times, it was really taxing my mental. You know, I almost quit because of that. And I was like, I just don't do the same numbers. Like maybe I don't got it anymore. Like maybe no one really cares.
Yeah.
And I can imagine how taxing that is, like over time on your mental.
I do also feel like there's just a time limit on how long I will be up for. Like I do feel like it's a 15 minutes of fame kind of deal, so I gotta capitalize on it as much as I can. And I'm like always scared, like, oh God, is it
now?
Is it the 15th? Are we at the 16th minute now? In terms of like flopping, if a social media flops, I'll probably delete it. If a song flops, I'll never delete that, because music for me has always been for myself. Social media stuff, that's like a job, so whatever, you can go. But I keep some bad music that I look back and I cringe, but I'll keep that up, because at the moment it was something that resonated with me before, so I'll keep that up just for that's because that was like the whole reason why I got into things.
Exactly,
I love music.
So I mean, obviously having a lot stronger of a personal connection to your music, and I totally agree with that. When it comes to in that moment when you upload it, that was, to me, is like the best thing I could have made at the time, and whatever feeling or mood I was in, like that really resonated with me. I can definitely see. I completely agree with you. Also, I really enjoy looking through someone's discography.
Yeah.
Like for I mean, Tyler the Creator is like really relevant right now, but like I love going back to his old stuff.
Oh
like
yeah, he's wild before.
I'm just like, holy shit, his sound has evolved so much, and I think people don't. I mean, his life is just out there, but I think people really, even when like for like me and you, like people, it's really nice to be able to, if someone finds a song that they really like from your discography and listening back, they're like, wow, this person has changed so much, at least for me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it more if I see like, oh, what you were doing then and like how it affects you doing what you're doing now, and it's like, that's really interesting.
How's your personal connection with music right now? You said you kind of wanted to release more music with other people. I can imagine that, when people see your content or like your brand, they don't imagine that you're producing music too much or releasing music on the side.
I love, because I've been really into producing for the majority of my life. I've gotten really into songwriting. The one thing I really hate is my voice, so just finding artists that kind of match the vibe I'm going for and are just like, who understand like the vision I'm going for and just the plan of how I approach things. I like releasing music with like those kind of people, because it just feels like a win-win for both of us.
Okay. So, and then in terms of like future projects, is there something that you're like working towards right now in terms of like big projects in the future? We're kind of just like releasing a single here and there.
Nothing big, just singles. Yeah, like I don't. Just hopefully a bunch of singles for the end of this year as well as the upcoming year.
Okay.
I don't think any of them are gonna be big. I'm gonna try my best to like make them go viral, but like I can't call that right now. So
for sure,
hopefully it goes well though.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for it too. I always enjoy, man. I'm thinking about YouTube tutorials or like music content creators around 2017, 2018 when I was started, and I think of like Busy Work Beats. Yeah, that was like the FL tutorials, of course. Man. Yeah. It was probably you, and then, man, I can't think of anyone else right now. There's so many now.
Kyle Beats.
Dude.
Pat Ryan, Sharp. Yeah, there's so many.
How did you feel like you fit into all that? Were you guys like talking to each other at any point? Where you guys like connect?
We're not like super buddy, but we always like showed each other love, and we'd always like give each other advice when we wanted to. I wasn't like super OG. I kind of came in just a little bit after, so I did feel a bit of imposter syndrome at the beginning until like a few years went by, and then, but. Yeah, like that community, especially like among the creators, like they're super supportive. So I love those guys like so much.
I think they're probably all still doing it, right? I can't imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, geez, it seems like such a long time ago, and the landscape has changed a lot, and memes come and go, and content creators come and go. How do you feel like what makes you still gives you motivation to like keep creating and keep doing this thing, other than it being a job and your livelihood?
Other than it being the job, like in terms of creating, I have to just create like the stuff I want to watch. I think that's the big thing. So if ingesting a lot of content and seeing what's trending and seeing like what I personally resonate with, that'll always inspire me to create content as well. I don't like to be like too formulaic. I like to be unpredictable. I try to be as original as possible. And I think that I fill a certain void that not a lot of content creators do. So I feel like I'm in a special place right now.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like music content creators are kind of like, it's mostly tutorials, obviously, like sound design stuff, or maybe someone just like showing a beat or whatever. I think what really is interesting about your content is not just about like music is part of it, but it's like having fun with it, like doing something like Soldier Boy, like Speedrun, like a world record type of stuff, or doing like a rank FL. I think the reel that I think sticks to me that I always associate with you is like the Call of Duty like gaming call out one.
Oh,
where you guys are like
with Rob?
Yeah. You guys are just like on FL like creating music, and it's cut in a way where it's like you're making call outs in like Warzone, for example. You know?
Oh, I love that guy, because we were like the only two doing like stupid speedrun content. So just in terms of like the idea, it felt like a layup in terms of like going viral. So I hit him up. I gave him like a script of just things to say and just like record himself saying it, and then I just edited it, cut together, and it just felt like so easy.
Dude, it was perfection, man. Especially I'm a big gamer as well. It was like my worlds colliding, and it was exactly like what I imagined it to be. Yeah. And kind of building on top of that, when you make like really viral content, when it comes to that niche, like, do you feel like people have an expectation for what you upload now? Like, you are viewed at in like a certain light, like you are like the speedrun FL guy, or like you do like these sort of like content theme. Like, do you feel like when you try to kind of branch out and try something new that the audience is really receptive in your end, or do you feel like you're kind of like pigeonholed a little bit?
No, I don't feel like I'm in a box, especially for like short form stuff. I think I've set up the what's the word? The order of my uploads in a way where it's not as predictable. Like, if they see one video, the next video should still be entertaining, but it should be different. And I'm trying to just kind of slowly get them to understand, just watch anything he does, or just wait for the end. It'll be worth it. But I don't want them to be able to predict what the video is going to be. So videos might be the same if you look at the catalog, but they're not uploaded like within the same time period.
Okay. I see. And this is just an aside. When I see a lot of the FL speedrunning stuff, my question is always like, as I said before, like there's so many like shortcuts that I never thought about. What are some of your favorite like go-to shortcuts just for producing, like in general for you? Is there like sauce when it comes to that? Like there's one that you always go to?
Okay, wait. There's no like secret shortcut that's gonna like turn you like into a demon.
Yeah.
There's just like a bunch of little ones. Like obviously like copy and paste, cut, duplicate, like just little things like that. It's more the combos. It's not a single button. You gotta be a combo man.
Give me a combo. Give me your go-to. The bread and butter.
Like, no, it changes like for every beat you make.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. You're just clicking, and I can't tell you a shortcut. Control B is probably like.
Wait, what's Control B?
Control B is just duplicate within the same like region. It's not even a big deal. Like there's no shortcut that's gonna like change your life.
Oh man, there was one. It's not even a shortcut, but it was literally just in the drop down menu. Like when you throw a drum pattern in FL, and then there's like. You get your kick, your snare, your hat, like some perks, and then you want to separate it out. And for the longest time, I was just manually like cutting it, pasting it in a new pattern, pasting it in the thing. I didn't know there was a drop down thing where you can just like, it'll export every individual track out for you automatically, and then you can just drag it from there. Yeah, I think things like that I'm always discovering in FL, so it's something that it won't make me better as a producer, but I feel like when I see these like cool shortcuts that I didn't know about before, it kind of like changes my workflow. And I feel like workflow, why I asked the shortcut question is workflow is really important when it comes to creation. I feel like it's an underrated aspect. Like the faster you can get an idea from like your head into FL, like the easier it is to create, in my opinion. At least.
I agree. For like when I'm in the studio by myself, I don't really care. But when I am bringing artists into a studio, that's kind of when like I'm on, because like the faster I get the beat done, the faster they can get the writing done, or the faster I can help them out, or get to the mix down so that they're inspired as possible, just to like keep that feeling going. So just like, slowing down or just having it pause for like a few seconds always like ruins that momentum for me. So that's mainly the reason why I try and stay like as fast as possible.
Yeah. How did you find most of your shortcuts anyways? Was it just like through like producing over time, or were you like looking up?
Producing over time, it's a mix of producing over time. It's a mix of, collaborating with another producer and just looking over the show like, what was that? What the hell was that? And then they'll show you. I read the manual
Oh my God.
pretty like extensively just to like
Isn't that long?
see. But also the actual meme of me speedrunning, like the video of me speedrunning,
Yeah.
I had to like learn how to get faster. Because like I wanted the meme to be as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So which means it had to force myself to look up a shortcut. Like, is there a way I can optimize this speedrun?
Yeah.
So then I just ended up using like those shortcuts that I learned from there.
Okay. So you actually had to do like a speedrunner. Like, what am I gonna do to like get this time down?
Because I wasn't always fast, but I had to be fast for the video. Because the idea was there before I was even able to do it. So then I had to learn how to do it.
Yeah. How long do you think that it took you from like you made this idea to like actually being able to execute it and like learn everything you needed?
Depends on the idea. I have ideas where it's probably gonna take me like a month or two because I'm learning an instrument within a single video or like something like that, or it's something quick that I can just do within like before lunch.
Okay.
But yeah, every idea is pretty different from each other, so I don't really have expectations on terms of timeline or upload consistency. I just kind of do the best I can and then just put it out when it's out, and then hopefully people enjoy it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's a pretty amazing mentality, honestly. I feel like people are really stuck in this I gotta upload every single day where like have a schedule. Obviously it helps with consistency and stuff, but I feel like people do get stuck in like the actual like quality of the content sometimes too.
Yeah. I'm very like anti algorithm, I guess. So I don't care about uploading consistently. I haven't used a hashtag in years. I never ask people for like a call to action. Oh, make sure you share the video, or, put in the bio. Oh, comment this and I'll tell you something about this. For like to farm engagement, I don't do any of that because it feels like
not as natural.
It's not as natural. Like if instead of like asking for people to share the video, like I'd rather just figure out how can I get them to share the video without me telling them. I feel like that's much more valuable information because that's gonna outlive whatever the algorithm is doing at this month.
Oh, that's smart, actually. Jeez. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, I know a lot of people, especially in like traditional marketing ideas, is that the call to action is really important. Like trying to directly engage with like the content is like the biggest thing.
I hate them. I hate all of these. I hate every single tip they give you. Let's do a 30-day marketing campaign and make sure let's create our own hashtag. Like, no, just make something good. Like I feel like it's a shortcut or something. Just try to make something good.
Yeah. Ultimately, having like unique ideas or good content, like people that will attract people no matter what at the end of the day. So yeah, I think that's really good advice. And we're talking about a lot of like social media content creation and things like that. And as you said, eventually, and we see the cycle repeat, eventually like social media fame where your engagement will run its course. It'll be a new generation of people like scrolling social media, where maybe the type of content will change and what people like will change, and eventually you won't be doing this full time as like just the social media side, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Kind of for your long-term goals or maybe dream projects, what is something that you're building towards, something that 10 years down the road, this is something I want to do or continue to be doing?
I think the reason I am releasing music with artists right now is just to build a catalog for the future, just to show people that like, okay, yeah, the social media stuff is good, but I'm actually a good producer. And hopefully once the social media and that stuff dries out, I can just sustain myself as a producer. I don't have to be in front of the camera, just go to studios, work behind the scenes, or executive produce, or just things like that, just because I know that has a longer shelf life than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as I'm in the spotlight, I'll take it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you obviously want to build out a music catalog and stuff like that. Have you ever had ideas of like wanting to score for like films or like for video games, for example, or like
Yeah,
those
definitely
some
film
things?
scoring. I did that a lot in university because I took composition. So I'm pretty nice at film scoring. I haven't done it in a while,
Yeah.
but yeah, like scoring like an animated movie, that'd be kind of like my dream. But I feel like that's I'll do that maybe like a few decades down the line, probably.
Decades down the line. Okay, okay. And did you ever want to build out sort of your own like maybe music house or like, you know, label or a production house, or were you kind of more focused on just like what can I do individually?
That's I don't know. Cause I guess you don't really know what your abilities are. Like I've never thought about that when I started. So I don't even know if I have the skill set for it. I might, and I might try it, but at the moment it doesn't interest me. Like, getting
that's fair.
people to sign papers versus like cooking up a fire melody. That's not me right now. Maybe like once I get sick of it, I'll maybe pursue that option. But at the moment, I don't see myself doing that right now.
For sure. You know, in terms of like, I have a question I really like to ask like creatives.
Sure.
Is like, now we think of suffering and music and like good music. I feel like for me it correlates a lot. I feel like with great suffering, I feel like artists kind of generally create like really cool art.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and this is kind of how I operate.
Okay.
Do you feel like you resonate with that? With like, you feel like you create with more suffering, you feel like you can create great art? Or do you feel like great art can be created without great suffering?
I think I agree with what you're saying, but it doesn't apply to me. I cannot make music if I'm not in a good mood. If I am suffering, if I'm suffering, music is the last thing like you're seeing from me. Honestly, like, to be honest, I don't really consider myself like an artist.
Oh wow, really?
Because I feel like the reason I create art isn't to like send a message to the world. I told you, I'm literally doing this for fun. Anything I'm doing, whether it's a sad song or a happy song, it's because like I find it fun to do. Like I don't find catharsis with writing like a ballad. I find joy in finding like a nice rhyme scheme with a cool punchline in it.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a different approach to me. But I understand people like real artists would resonate with your statement more. For me, no. Okay.
Hey, first of all, I do consider you a real artist.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think you're an amazing producer in your own right. And I think your opinion is valid at all. Completely. I don't think, you know, I've really thought about this question a lot, like philosophically. Like, why is it that I create better music when I suffer? And I don't necessarily want to all the time. Like, I don't want to be in a state of like grief where like I'm just going through a lot and to be able to create great music, because I don't think that's like sustainable. You know? So, and then a problem I had for a while was not being able to, I felt like the music I made when I was happy or just kind of like vibing and enjoying life was like, I didn't resonate with as much. It was like a weird feeling. It was like, I felt like my music,
like you're down there.
Yeah. Like my music is better, but I don't like it as much.
Oh.
Because I don't feel like I connect with the music as much. It's like a weird, like, train of thought for me. So I always wondered, you know, I always like asking this question to get a lot of perspectives on like what it means to like make great music, you know?
I think just being genuine. You don't have to be suffering to be genuine. You can still be happy and still make genuine music. So that's kind of the way I approach it. I just can't stand, especially this is a job.
Yeah.
I can't stand working. Like, why would I work if I'm in a bad mood? Like, I'm not going to the gym. I'm not working. I'm not doing any of this shit. So, yeah.
I see. Okay. I see you. You know, and also, you know, you're someone I really, you know, like look at when it comes to content creation and music creation and things like that. And I really love your philosophy and like why you create and what you create. You know, for people out there who are like just starting out and kind of like trying to figure out, you know, do they want to like, how do they make this full time? How do they leverage their audience? What is some of your advice for these people, you know, kind of like someone that will look up to you or someone that's just starting out?
I think the best advice I can give is something I also constantly think about. It's to make content with the assumption that nobody knows who you are.
Okay.
If you realize that nobody knows who you are and nobody gives a fuck about you, then you can figure out the problem of how to make people give a fuck about you. So, like, for example, if you are starting out and you just released a song, if you break down the production of the song or you make content about how I made this cover art, nobody knows who you are, nobody knows your song, nobody knows your cover art, so nobody's gonna care. So okay. It's pretty much just figure out how to make them care, whether it is education, whether it's entertainment, where it is something like emotionally resonant. You have to figure that out. But like even today, I always assume it's 0 followers.
Oh,
I went viral last video, but today when I'm uploading this video, I have 0 followers and I have to win them all back every single time.
Okay.
Because if you work with the assumption that people know who you are, I feel like you get lazy. Ooh. It's like a lazier idea if you think, oh, these people already like me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just try to make people give a fuck, I guess.
What are some of the way? I mean, not to give all your sauce away, but what are some like easy ways or something that would be for someone starting out would be like a good start point in terms of like how to get people to give a fuck about you?
I'm not gonna lie, this is not like easy at all. Like honestly, especially like looking at the videos I was doing before and now, the majority of my day I'm just spent thinking. Thinking about ideas and just drafting and storyboarding and just thinking about like ideas, because I feel like this is like the most important thing now. But obviously like do research about like what goes viral and why things go viral, because I feel like you'll see a TikTok of somebody dressed up in a stupid Halloween costume would go viral versus somebody promoting their song, because that one is just purely for the sake of entertainment while this one is an ad. So you have to learn about like why people are watching things, why people stick around, why people don't like your stuff, and then somewhere around there you can find a middle ground where even though we are promoting stuff constantly and technically we are advertising, we can make it we can make it so that it's still genuine and people still give a fuck about it. I think some of the best stuff was like Connor Price.
Yes,
I was showing some of his videos to my editor. So it's like one of his classic Connor Price skits where like he's making a carrot out of a flute, and then in the second half he raps his song. And I was just telling my editor, what do you think of this? And I was like, what do you think of this as like an advertisement? And he's like, oh, I didn't even realize he was like advertising his song. I thought it was just a skit. I was like, oh, like isn't it like interesting how like if you like just formulate the idea and you kind of just map it out perfectly, like they won't even realize they're being sold to.
Yeah. It's not like the main, like the hook isn't necessarily to like sell you the song. It's like to like engage you through this piece of content, and then at some point you're just like, oh wait, like I want to go check out this song again. Or like, oh, maybe there's like other part, or even like looking at his other content, and then that's also has its own message.
The music really shouldn't be the most important thing, which is like, which seems like counterproductive for like any kind of music creative, but it really should not be the most important thing when it comes to like your content, because then you're just an ad and might as well just pay Facebook or something.
Nah, you're right. Yeah, I think that's like really good advice in terms of, at the end of the day, you're part of the entertainment, part of you're just trying to give people a good time when they scroll and watch your content. It's not just about like selling something or having to like have a motivation to like, I want them to like do something, At the end of the day, I think it's out of how genuine you are, and and out of like pure entertainment's sake, is like you're just trying to give someone like they have their 10 seconds of like, wow, that was great. I'm happy.
And then also just like honestly make it true to yourself. Like I try to make as entertaining as possible, because I try to make my friends and my family laugh like all the time. So I feel like that's just a part of me. But I don't want people to think like they have to be me, especially if they're not that kind of person. Some people are more like lean into like more of the emotional side or the motivational side or more of like a professional, aesthetic side. So whatever, just you feel is more genuinely you, I think it can work. Either avenue can work as long as it's kind of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Huh. Yeah, that's really good advice. And kind of to wrap everything up, and what are your thoughts on kind of the current landscape of like music marketing? As you said, when you first started out in music, there wasn't a lot of tutorials out there, and it was more traditional marketing. It was about being on the radio. It was about like social media just wasn't as big. It's that, like that industry, like the audience wasn't there. And over the past, probably around just before COVID and definitely after, like social media marketing is like a whole different thing. You need it in order to have people engaged and have eyeballs and an audience for your music. How do you feel like that sort of you've adapted to that landscape yourself in your career, and kind of how do you feel about it? Because I think a lot of people who started making music maybe a little bit earlier and kind of like older, they kind of like a little bit jaded when I talk to them. All of them are like burnt out or like just don't enjoy the grind of social media. But obviously that's not everyone's experience, and kind of like I want to hear your perspective on it.
It's definitely harder now, just because so many people are doing it. I feel like it's just easier to go viral, like on TikTok, like a few years ago. Like you could just post a beat and then that's it. But now you have to have a story behind it and all like these things. Yeah. So it is harder. So I can understand why people are frustrated, because the formula that they have doesn't work anymore. But you just have to be better. Like that's it's straight up a skill issue.
Get good.
It's a skill issue, like through and through, because you can really go viral off of $0. Like if you think hard enough and you like figure out the idea and you plan it out well enough, you can still make it work. It's just a lot more difficult. It's like a lot of people are copying and posting like the same thing because they saw one guy make it go viral. Yeah. So like they're just trying to piggyback on like the success. So like those are short wins. And if you want to like really have a strong win, you'll have to think about like making something original.
Yeah, I think the advice I was always given is that like the original post, however that went viral, that's your ceiling. Like you can never, for the most part, like you can never exceed that, right? So like you're only getting like a fraction of those views, likes, in order to like really propel yourself to the next level or really kind of grow yourself. It does have to be original. At the end of the day. It has to be authentic, and I think that's the thing people really struggle with. What does it mean to?
But like, aren't we artists? So like, why are you having a hard time? Because we're artists, right? So shouldn't we be authentic and like to ourselves?
It's true.
So like, what are you guys complaining about?
I agree. It's a weird dilemma that people have, and a weird thing that people struggle with. They're like, oh, how do you be authentic on social media? It feels like some of them like it's a front. It's like a different persona. Yeah, and it's really hard to connect. It's really hard to connect that and like their actual like artistry or their music.
I get it though. It is tough because you also have to like, we haven't even talked about just the actual process of making music. Like what if we do all this and the music sucks at the end? Like we still have to get our priorities straight. So it is like it feels like an extra hurdle that we all have to like go over. But
that's actually a good point. And this question just popped up on my head. Do you feel like in your process of music, first of all, what is your process of music? And also, do you ever have moments where like you're kind of creating like a content piece and then all of a sudden like a crazy song idea pops out of that for you?
A lot of my content is usually based around a song I already made. So I make the song first and I try to make content around that. I feel like that's more sustainable, because if it's the other way, I feel like I'm depending on an idea or like what goes viral, versus if I can figure out how to make any song I make go viral, that I feel like that's a healthier way of me making a living.
And then in terms of like your own like music creation, is it for me, I sometimes get like melodies or like a song sketch idea that pops in my head, and I like lay it down and see where that goes? How does everything like come to you? Do you just like fiddling around in the studio?
It's I think my favorite way is just changing the process every time. So it is sometimes something from the voice notes. It is just, buying a new preset pack and scrolling through and making whatever sounds nice, or the melody that pops in my head, or I go drums first, or I try and do a stupid challenge. But I think mixing it up just kind of makes it more fun for me. So I'll just do whatever that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. I mean, first of all, it was great having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. That was a really fun conversation.
Yeah,
I feel like, oh man, it's always fun pulling back the curtain a little bit and kind of, people see like a side of you or just your content. And I feel like sometimes it's really interesting to be able to talk to the person behind it and your ideas and how everything comes to be. And I'm really excited for your future music releases.
Appreciate it.
And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the next one, baby.
Peace.